Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. A lot more has happened in this trip between of Modi in the United States. A lot of people are not even touching this. We have some fantastic breaking news, and Sridhar Chityala is here. We have a small slide deck to present to you. Please like this video and let's now welcome Sridhar Chityala ji. Sridhar ji, namaskar and welcome to P Guru's channel. Sir, how are you?
Namaskar ji, how are you? I'm doing wonderful, sir. Great to be back here. Within a short span of 4 days, we are back here.
Yes, indeed.
To cover some interesting stuff, Sree.
Sir, a little birdie came and told me that you have a lot of information beyond what was there in the optics, all that sugary stuff. But there are a lot of other things that took place. We are hoping that you will unravel some of these mysteries. We have a slide deck also at your request, sir. Let's go. Sir.
Well, I think that the insights into the negotiations will touch, but one has to ask the question beyond the bonhomie between the two well-known leaders. They also exchanged a book which was presented by President Trump to Prime Minister Modi at his place at the White House, and telling him, "Hey, you know, you are a great man. And you're a great leader, and Mr. Prime Minister, you are great. There you go. You are great." And all the pictures of the Howdy Modi and Namaste India and etc. So that was a surprise, and I think Modi was very pleased. But I think there are two important messages that come out of that. Which people are not relating as yet. There are only 4 leaders who came to United States post the presidency, post he took over. One is Benjamin Netanyahu, and second is the Japanese Prime Minister, and the third is Prime Minister Modi, and fourth is the Jordanian king.
Yeah,
the 4. If you take a look at all the 4 leaders, they're all in some way or the other allies and friends of Prime Minister or President Trump. And it's a very important decision for him to communicate to the world that leaders of these nations matter. Israel is strategic. Japan is by far the largest kind of leading G7 partner for United States, and Modi and India have always been great partners. And Jordan is the balancing power in United States, in Middle East, along with, and it is in a very strategic location adjacent to Israel. If Gaza needs to be stabilized and any of these plans needs to happen, then Jordan is going to play a very so. From an foreign policy optics point of view, you found this particular visit was more about foreign policy optics, rather than substantive aspects of the things that we will touch on, which is namely, MAGA and MIGA is MEGA. That's the kind of the dictum that went on. We should not also forget Bolsonaro, who is the Brazilian leader, who was a great ally of both Trump and Modi, was at the Trump inaugural. That also is a very significant kind of a symbol. And lo and behold, just now, in the last 24 hours, Brazil. There you go.
Sir, Bolsonaro forgot to read this book, sir.
Exactly. Well, he sent a message. I don't know. I think I sent you that thing, which is Brazil takes over the BRICS leadership, notwithstanding the fact Bolsonaro is not there. They immediately went up and said, "No BRICS currency. So we're going to pull it back." So these are some kind of significant moments within the context of what happened in the last kind of 72 to 96 hours. And who was present when this happened? Prime Minister Modi was in India. Who is Prime Minister Modi? Is an important member and cogwheel in the BRICS membership.
Yes, indeed. Let's go to the next slide, please. Sir.
Yes. Now here we go. I think that they will purchase all kinds of equipment. Now let's kind of let's recollect here. Okay, let's recollect here. I don't remember all this hardware, and I just need to go back and take a look at the hardware. Just bear with me for a minute. So what's the hardware? C-130J Super Hercules, C-17 Globemaster 3, P-81 Poseidon aircraft. Remember P-81 Poseidon aircraft, the surveillance things that fly, that goes from our ships. 𝗍𝗫-47 Chinook, the one which does heavy lifting in the high mountain ranges. MH-60R Seahawk and AH-64E Apache helicopters. These are all in the battle terrain up north in the Himalayan region. These were the things that during the past regime, during President Trump's regime with Mike Pompeo at the helm, a lot of this equipment, we covered this in DGI, became a deterrence mechanism, and India needed to acquire this to combat both on the Galwan front as well as in the Doklam. So both those battles, these things played a significant part in association with the Rafale planes, right? So when you look at these things, the Harpoon anti-ship missiles, M777 howitzers, and MQ-9B drones. And they also got 6 additional P-81 maritime patrol, which we covered, maritime patrol, the Poseidon aircraft, because this was in the Indian Ocean. And if you remember the Malacca Strait issues that India was facing as part of a quad deterrence mechanism against the Chinese, intruding ships. So it looks like, though what people may say, they had this list clearly prepared, because all of you may have, during this intervening period, she would have covered through the various other experts, that China has ramped up significant part of its rapid force movement up north. While India has built infrastructure, it really needed capabilities in terms of the hardware. It did not have the hardware which was capable of both defending up north in the high mountains as well as any intrusions that is likely to happen, because India has actually lost more ground than we kind of stopped talking about it, both in South China Sea as well as in the Indian Ocean on the maritime side. So it came very clearly prepared. This was well orchestrated, and there was a very, very important member whose presence was discreet, silent, but who made his way into the White House during that meet, and that was Mr. Dole. And Mr. Dole, sorry.
Sir, I saw the seating arrangement. See, Modi was there. To the right of Modi was External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar. To the right of Dr. Jaishankar was Ajit Doval. I completely forgot about this warrant business, and I was just looking for him. The reason I was looking for him is I know the importance of Doval in all these negotiations, and I saw it, but that part that he was in trouble for the other case, it never crossed my mind. So that's now pretty much done and dusted.
I think the fact that he was visible, he was silent, the fact we are reading out the list of stuff that is now on the table from a defense, which was explicitly pointed out by President Trump, which is to say, we are going to do big stuff with India on defense. They're going to need more stuff, and we are going to give more stuff to them. Now, what's that more stuff? This is the more stuff. Again, go back to the period when we extensively covered South China and India's deterrence and how United States helped during that particular period. And, I'm a banking and economics guy, but the defense guys can talk more than what I can do. But from a geopolitical point of view, you can see the armaments, and the list virtually will map what we covered in the 2016-2020.
Very true,
all
very true.
important components, Sriji.
Sir, the credit is all yours, sir. All I was doing was reading and asking you some questions. Credit is all yours because you did the hard work, the groundwork. So viewers, now you know what you are missing. With Sridharji being busy with other stuff, he is back with us now. So let's go on to the second one. The high-end defense electronics trade via Israel continues clandestinely with US awareness but no intervention. Give us for example, for this, sir. What are the high-end electronic trade things?
Well, I think that there is, there's a lot of work that is going on two fronts. One is cyber surveillance and quantum computing cybersecurity. It is, if you have not picked up through the news circles, the highest amount of cyber interference as well as surveillance occurred during the Biden period. And this was even reported by the Ministry of Defense, but they didn't do anything about it. So Israel plays a significant part in terms of surveillance as well as the ability to detect and the ability to deter, especially those threats which require quantum computing methodologies to unravel these threats and then to deflect. So just to give one example, we're not going to go into all of those things, but that just give one example.
So Trump is going to leave things be as it is. Let's go to the next slide, please. We have a few slides to cover now. Sir, on AI and semiconductor development, that speech that Prime Minister Modi gave in English in Paris was very impressive, sir.
Very impressive, very impressive. It is very impressive on three counts. It's impressive on first count, which is namely he could kind of, his knowledge and grasp of the subject. I think that's number one. Number two is ability to communicate the issues, very, very clear. And who was present in that meeting while he was making this statement? Vice President J.D. Vance was at that meet, number two. And number three, I think that he is demonstrating or he is communicating to the world, India is prepared to work with the West or the so-called West minus. There are few nations who are, who may not be part of the West, at least. And so those nations he's prepared to work with, especially around the AI. Is obviously India lacks the hardware in terms of the capacity to run this AI software. So I think this is some of the things that they are trying to work on to see whether restrictions can be lifted. This is one of the areas I also believe that he may have had discussions with Elon Musk at his residence. He was at Elon Musk's residence, spent time with his family and children. So he may have had, and he spent a few minutes with him when he needs no introduction to this is one of the areas, Sergi.
Next one, please. Sir.
Yeah, I think Gujarat is clearly, I mean, he is pushing Gujarat as the center of excellence. He has provided the infrastructure, he has provided the capabilities. Microsoft, Google, IBM, you name it. I think everybody is going to make the presence. Because of stability in the government, and also now there's a fair amount of knowledge base. So he doesn't want to be reliant purely on UP, purely on Bangalore. I think he's also building Gujarat. During this intervening period, potentially this could have happened even in Maharashtra. I think Maharashtra lost some ground. So UP, Bangalore, Karnataka, and clearly Gujarat is the epicenter of various activities, Sriji.
Next one, please.
Yes, for aerospace, I mean, we said that that they are trying to. Pune has always had an aerospace footprint very similar to Andhra and very similar to Bangalore. And very similar to Gujarat again, Ahmedabad. So I think that clearly Google is trying to establish an AI center of excellence, which is very specifically focused on aerospace. They've lost ground to a considerable extent to Tesla. We'll see how that maps out, but that's again a good partnership. Again, this is all in the defense side. This is all in the defense and space side. Yeah.
Next one, please, sir.
3I Centers of Excellence. Yeah, this, I think that it's basically, there's nothing much to add here. So I think that India has recognized the need for AI to be one of the centers of excellence, one of the future growths. What has given impetus in terms of the more recent news is that the DeepSeek technology that has been announced to the world requires a vast amount of less computational power on the hardware side, giving hope that much of the work can be done through software, and giving hope to the Indian AI developers that they don't need an NVIDIA type of grunt to run this software, Sriji. Yes, we finished the defense we started. So now we go to the trade, because President Trump said there are 3 specific areas of focus. One is trade, second is defense, third is energy. I mean, there are other kinds of things that people are speaking about, but 3 major areas. What is his bone of contention? His bone of contention is, when he left presidency, again, which we covered in DGI, United States was the largest trading partner, with displacing China. As he takes presidency, China has edged past United States to be the number 1. That's his first bone of contention. The second bone of contention that he has is, United States has a trade surplus India has a trade surplus with United States to the tune of almost $37 billion. $37 billion. Okay, now he's saying $37 billion, your total exports and total exports is about 778. Your imports is about 800. So we carry a significant amount of the burden, and you are not giving anything back. We are your number 1 strategic. If you want us to be a number 1 strategic partner, you got to buy something more from us rather than from your enemies like China. Number 1. Number 2, you are buying so much of, if you go to the next slide on this previous one. No, next. Number 4, 5, 6. Do you have number 4, 5, 6? 1, 2, 3 we have. No. We don't have that slide. Okay. No, not this one. No. I have to send it. Sorry. If I take, I'll send it to you. If I take a look at Russia's exports, Russia's imports to India is $61 billion. Go back in time and even go back to kind of the pre-Trump era. The total exports of the total trade with Russia was somewhere close to $20 billion. Okay, much of it came via defense, and probably about $5 to $6 billion came from energy. And that flip happened. I'm going to send a slide to Sachin. Just bear with me, guys, for 1 minute. Okay, I sent the slide to you. So you will see the Russia. So what these are all things that president team has looked at is saying, hey, you got $60 billion worth of imports from Russia. Yes, significant part of those imports is energy. How much of that you are going to take off and give it to me? This was openly addressed by Trump in the meeting. The trade imbalance can be addressed. They have a huge need for oil and gas, and we can deliver that and bring the imbalance down. And in the earlier point, we will give access to them in the defense so that they can buy more sophisticated stuff from us. And this is the way they'll buy more from us and bring the deficit of exports, imports down and bring it to a parity. Because if you take a look at that chart, everybody is a net. India is a net importer from the top 10 countries with the
except
exception
US.
of United States.
Yes,
So
yes,
this
very
is
true, very true, very true.
Significant point of discussion, Sree.
Sir, there's a very reasonable agreement they can come to, sir. If the United States can match the price of Russia and it can accept rupees, I don't think Modi will have a problem. I don't know if US is ready to accept rupees.
Okay. The rupee comes in, sir, if you have sanctions and you have no tradable currency. 75% of India's reserves is in US dollar. The largest foreign exchange remittances happens from United States into India. 300 of the Fortune 500 companies are located in India. So the question of the dearth of a dollar or usage of a rupee does not come into context here when you have $650 billion of reserves. Okay, even if you go back to the previous slide, please. No, number 1, 2, 3. No, not this one. Yes, $77 billion of US dollar exports, sir. If you export $70 billion,
I just put it rhetorically, sir. I just put it rhetorically. I know India can buy it in dollars, of course. Of course, India is going to buy it in dollars, sir. Dollar is the king.
No, he is going to buy it in dollars. I think what has happened, Sree, is already Dr. Puri has considered if he matches price, we have no hesitation in buying US oil or US gas. Is mentioned. We have no hesitation. First statement, as soon as presidency of Trump was announced, he made the statement very clear. If they match the price, we'll take it. And what does Trump say? We'll match the price. We'll give you more gas. We'll give you more oil. You also fill up our ships, which is patrolling the waters in the thing, because we had none. So I think that what is going on here, and then Trump didn't stop there. He said, Modi is a better negotiator than me. He will, I will have to negotiate, but he is a harder negotiator than me. And he will turn out to be good. He's just kind of, prepping him up by saying, okay, come to the table with numbers and then I'm ready to do a deal. That is what did not happen. Again, we covered during that last 4 years how our reserves were depleted for misuse. And our reserves were depleted on one side, this is United States, and while we refused leasing of new fields and refused licenses for new drilling, which was granted during the prior regime. We extensively again covered this in the DGI show. So he's trying to kind of, fix these two areas. So this is this is the trade kind of little bit overlaps with trade and the energy side. And very important point on the trade, you have seen the numbers, it's about $120 billion, $125 billion. During the Trump time, we were somewhere close to $135, $140 billion. in terms of the bilateral trade. They target, Modi is very clear, by 2030, the bilateral volume of trade is 500 billion. He has to triple in the next 5 years. So he better ramp up. And the good news for him is he has 4 years and Trump has 4 years. They have every mechanism and every avenue available to build this up.
Yes, indeed, sir. And now let's go to the next slide. Are we done? This one, is there anything, sir? I think it's the same thing, right?
I think we have done top trading partners. We have done the energy part of it. We have done. The only point, this particular slide, I put it up, is that you can see that every nation has got a significant surplus against United States. This is why he is introducing the tariffs against many countries. And India has got probably the lowest, 12% of its GDP as far as its merchandise exports to United States. United States has got 7% to rest of the world, so it's the lowest. So this is why the tariff regime is coming up, which is to say, okay, make America great again means you have to buy stuff from us as well, and then if you don't match the price, then go to someone else. So I think that's the thing. So trade, energy, defense, and finally on the energy, one important point, which I would like, we talked about oil and gas. Qatar is the largest exporter of gas to India. United States is the second, but the difference between the two is almost a significant volume. And I think this is another area where they're going to kind of converge in terms of LNG supply to India. And Modi has stated that he has a huge LNG need. He has great refining capability, as well as the distribution capability located, sourcing and distribution capability located around various parts of the country. There's one other significant development on the energy front, which is namely, I think India is going to be made a member of International Economic Agency, which is a very influential in terms of regulation and installation of all this nuclear stuff, nuclear energy. So you're going to see India becoming a member. They again kind of announced, if you missed it, but they're also going to give, there was access control and restrictions on some of the nuclear equipment, though they signed the deal in 2008, and I think they're going to relax some of those, and United States is going to participate in many micro nuclear reactors being installed in the country. So this is the three pillars, of which the first two pillars we already knew by virtue of the past presidency. So I would say from an optics point of view, this was a great bonhomie, but the first two segments of the deal was already, which is namely the defense and energy, was already in place and coming into play. Now, security, which is one of our pet topics, no Quad discussion, no South China Sea discussion, because they believe that they can put deterrents to China other ways. This is the broad Western powers. And if India needs, India will be supplied with the necessary capacity for India to act to be a deterrent. So no strategic discussion took place around that. The only question that is open now, whether Marco Rubio will bring back, the strategic, India to be a strategic partner on par with Japan and Israel back to the Senate table for approval, now with a Senate which is more Republican aligned, but also some of centrist Democrats supporting it. There's a possibility that India could emerge out of this. Very important point, this, I know, Sriji, you and I talk offline about this. All of this effort is coming from, thankfully, the Indians. Very less effort is coming. I don't want to give any credit. People blame us as Americans, but that's okay. We are Americans. But very less is coming from the so-called Indian American community. Much of the work is coming from the Indians and the think tank that's actually worked between the two sides of the government.
Thank you so much, sir. We have a few questions from our viewers. We already talked about this. BRICS has been dropped. Brazil has announced that they have dropped alternate currency. Sir, let's take a few questions if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
Manoj Soma wants to know, sir, can we expect a boom in exports of our pharma? Because what Trump said in campaign is to bring down medical cartel. If he does, it's huge for India as we are pharma capital of the world. Your views?
No, I think it will, as long as Indian pharmaceutical companies meets stringent, the guidelines of the FDA.
Next one, please. Partha wants to know, will Greater America get a seat at OPEC or OPEC Plus if Russia is back in G8? How else can they integrate into the energy selling market or special deals for partner countries?
I think that United States, doesn't care about G8 or G8 Plus or OPEC Plus. It doesn't believe in any of the centralized institutions. More and more, it is around bilateral kind of partnerships. Those who want to work with us, those who want to deal with us, and we'll work with them, and we'll try to solve world's problems. I mean, you've seen for yourself. I mean, he's not supportive of UN. He's not supportive of Paris Accord. He's not supportive of WHO. He's not supportive of many of these things which he felt where organizational vultures, where significant amount of resources were deployed and were used as advocacy agencies rather than trying to solve problems.
Next one, please. Phoenix wants to know, what about F404 or F414 engines still in limbo? This is the General Electric Crystal Blade, I think. Are they ready? Is US ready to deliver?
I don't know. I don't have any comments on this, Sergey. Also, the F-35, which has been discussed that they will offer, whether they will offer with conditions or whether they will offer, with full access to India, the technology capability for indigenization. The details are to be worked out.
Maithili wants to know, Sridharji, how will US and India's trade balance each other? I think we talked about this. Let's go to the next one. Vilila Vasudevan wants to know, is there any update on the funds being given to Hotel Roosevelt? Yes, Leela they clawed it back. That 49 million has come back to FEMA. So we have to wait and see what happens. Next one, please. Sorry, sir, I'm just preempting because I know I read that story. I did a program on that. That's why.
Oh, they asked you, sir, so you should reply. So they said, ask Iyer.
Sridhar Chityala wants to know, sir, when can India expect placement in UN Security Council? Will it matter to us or not?
It will not matter.
Next one, please. Elmo wants to know, sir, Sridhar sir, looking at all these charts of trade, I'm not surprised why rupee is so weak. There are poverty-stricken countries whose currency is stronger.
Well, I think the currency being weaker is good, folks. It allows you to export more. So therefore, I don't know why people feel currency needs to be kind of, very strong. Of course, if you want to continue to have a bad habit of importing, then weak currency costs you. Look at Japan. It's very happy when its currency is depreciated. It is pushing more. It's the third largest economy in the world, or fourth largest economy in the world. Germany having third largest economy in the world. So by nominal GDP. So I think weak currency. India wants to be an exporter along with being a large consumer using its PPP. So a weak Indian currency is not necessarily bad for its economy.
Thank you so much, Sridharji, and that was a wonderful conversation, sir. We have a lot of things planned out, viewers. Would love to have your comments on this program because, as you can see, everybody talked about the sugary stuff, but here we went into the details. What exact things are happening, why, and how we predicted it in the past. So we are always ahead of the curve in terms of predicting what's coming down the pipeline, and I think there's a value in watching P Gurus just for that. Thank you once again, Sridharji. Namaskar.
Thank you, namaskar, and wonderful to be back and speaking to you folks. Thank you. Continue to support P Gurus and Sree Iyer and generously contribute towards this great channel and great programs that he brings about.
Thank you, sir. Bye.